After 25 years in this parliament, not much shocks me. But this week I talked with a woman who told me her story of suffering and distress as a result of being severely injured by the COVID vaccine. Her story shocked me and should shock every Australian. Verity is a 52-year-old highly trained midwife in my electorate. Well, she was a midwife until 2021 when she was coerced into being jabbed in order to keep her job. The perverse irony is that the jab injured her so severely that she is no longer able to work as a nurse or a midwife. What makes this story even more distressing and compelling is that this highly qualified and experienced midwife was reluctant to be jabbed from the start. Verity has given me permission to share her story, and I will introduce you to her in this program in the next couple of weeks. In 2021, Verity was a fit and healthy woman. She ran several times a week and participated in park runs and half and full marathons around Australia and New Zealand. That's a fit lady. Each time she came on shift at the hospital, Verity was asked whether she'd had her vaccinations. And when she tried to discuss her concerns with fellow work colleagues, she was told by her manager, quote, "Keep your mouth shut and follow the rules." Verity told me that a few weeks later she was informed by a work colleague that she was no longer allowed on the premises. HR told her she was immediately stood down, and within a few weeks her employment was terminated due to orders from the Chief Health Officer. Verity was completely cut off from work colleagues. She received no support from anyone despite having worked tirelessly at the hospital for around 10 years, including night duties, public holidays and over Christmas and New Year. This is a nurse who, like every other nurse in 2020 prior to the vaccines, put herself and her health on the line to care for patients. Quite literally, she went from hero to zero overnight. With no job, no leave, no income and no prospects, not even as a cleaner, Verity had no choice but to submit to the experimental injection. Because some other family members had experienced difficult reactions to the Pfizer and AstraZeneca vaccines, Verity was determined to wait until Novavax became available. Together with her son, who incidentally had a cardiac history but couldn't continue his university course without being jabbed, Verity went and got the Novavax. If you think her story is horrendous so far, what happens next is heartbreaking. Verity immediately started to experience joint pain in her left arm, then her legs, along with skin-crawling sensations all over her body, and a head which intensified, followed by extreme itchiness like an allergic reaction. When she consulted the doctor, he said, "I don't know anything about Novavax, but if you're having effects, it means it's working." He also called her an anti-vaxxer, which clearly she wasn't because she'd submitted to the jab. How dare he? 2 weeks later, Verity continued to struggle with severe chest pains. She couldn't breathe properly, which was exacerbated by lying down. Not wanting to go back to the first doctor, she saw another in the hope of being listened to and believed, but this new doctor also called her an anti-vaxxer and said that she was suffering from anxiety and might be premenopausal. I've heard this a lot from other women, and it's one of the most insidious forms of gaslighting that I've heard, and still continues to suffer from a broad range of other debilitating symptoms: severe headaches, hearing loss, tinnitus it's called, I think, chest pains, leg weakness, arthritis and extreme fatigue and insomnia. So here's this previously fit and healthy, highly skilled woman who's unable to work in her profession unless she gets a further 2 jabs. This is crazy. Verity was literally sobbing over the phone when we spoke 2 days ago, not just about her own pain and suffering, but the palpable relief that I believed her where others had ignored and doubted her. I have to ask, where are the doctors who know this is happening? Are they turning a blind eye? Are they willfully blind? Are they fearful of retribution from APRA? What's stopping them from coming forward and sounding the alarm? I've been telling stories of vax-injured Australians for 3 years now, but my shock at the lack of compassion, the lack of decency, the lack of humanity outrages me more than anything else. If you're a doctor who wants to speak up but feels like you can't, please contact me. I will do whatever I can to help to get the truth out. Thank you for listening today. We're still working with Verity. This is justice as I see it.